Good morning, everybody. Cheers. Another lukewarm coffee. It's 'cause I get in like 45 minutes before the stream, just in case there's a disaster or stuff to do, and I get the coffee on the way in, and by the time the stream starts, not so hot anymore. Oh well. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all well. Hello, Amanda. Good morning. And David Dessa, hi. Quindor, hello. And Super Bruce, yes. Graham, hi. Jay, hello. Johnny is here. Everyone can relax now. Johnny's here. Christos, hi. Alan, hello. There was like no one waiting in the stream this morning. There was like 10 minutes to go, and it went from 0, and then it went to 4, and then it went to 2. So I thought it'd just be me today, and then Bruce posted, and I thought it'd just be the two of us. But I'm glad to see some more people have joined. How's everyone's week been? Yeah, new season in Apex. What? What's Apex? Is that a show? What? I don't know what Apex is. Hey, Mad Techie. What? Nice Adam. What? Who? Where? Okay, I don't know. Don't know what's going on. I've had a very interesting week. And a very interesting couple of days. So I'll share some of it in a moment. Good week. I finished a last assessment for my BA in film and TV last. Wow. Awesome. Congratulations. When do you find out the results? I don't know what hang on, last assessment for BA in the middle of the year. You're local, aren't you, Amanda? You're an Aussie, I think. Thought you were. Maybe you're not. Oh, Apex, is that Apex Predators? Adam is a gamer. He's streaming on Twitch. Apex is his go-to game. Okay, wow. I'm just not up with the young kiddies these days. Sorry, Alan and Johnny. My gaming days are long gone. The only gaming I get to do these days is gaming myself to try to get some sleep. But other than that, no. Okay, so you'll all be disappointed to hear that I got nowhere with my hub PCB after the stream last week. I got stalled because I could not find... I finally got a footprint for one of those 3 vertical USB connectors that we were talking about, but I could not find a 3D model anywhere. And I found a model this morning, actually, but it's not even close to the right model. But I'm going to try one last thing to find a model. The reason I want a model for this connector is there's no point putting a connector on the board that I don't have an accurate model for, because I can't build a case. And it's a complex model. so I don't really want to have to sit and design one from scratch. My 3D modelling days are long past me. Quindo might have one. Cool. Well, I'm going to try actually SQUiXL's website. There's one place I didn't try, so I'm going to try that. But before I do that, I'm going to show you something that happened yesterday. It was a bit of an unexpected story, or unexpected event, something like that. Let me just prepare. Here's a project I prepared earlier. So my new CNC arrived last week, right after the stream. Came in 3 boxes. 2 of them came. All 3 boxes got delivered at different times. The first one came like half an hour after the stream finished. The second one was late in the afternoon, and then the third one was the next day. But they sat downstairs on the ground because I had no bench to put them on, and I couldn't get. It's for the high one. Okay, I'll have a look here. I can always. I'll let you know if I need it. I'm actually thinking I might go the high one. I don't know, but anyway. So I didn't have a bench, and I mentioned in my stream last week that getting a bench. Teplatronics, hello. How are you? Getting a bench was difficult because there's all this health and occupational health and safety stuff now, and drivers aren't allowed to help you get stuff off the truck, and if you need a forklift or a blah blah blah, and they palletize things, and it was a real pain. Anyway, so I couldn't solve the how do I get a workbench delivered or whatever. And then a funny thing happened yesterday. I was on. Let me just go to. Let me switch. Let me find web browser. Oh, that'll do. Not that page. Machinery House. So there's a company here. They're called Hare and Forbes Machinery House, right? And they look at the stuff that they sell. Like they sell full-on water jet machines, plasma cutters, fiber lasers, like not just bench stuff, but like, walk inside massive things, yeah? And this is where I normally get my workbenches from. So, workbench. Oh God, I can't even spell. So this is the workbench. This one here is the workbench I've got my Milo mill on. Yeah, they're good. Like I like their benches. It's steel. It's really sturdy. It's good casters. Anyway, hello Richard. Good morning. And so this is what I got last time, but I had a whole hoo-ha. I had to pay an extra like $120 on top for delivery because they had to put it on a truck with a lift at the back and all that stuff, and then they wouldn't do that for me again this time. So I had no way of them delivering it, and I've only ever bought from them on their website, and I know they have one location in every state in Australia, just one, and I figured they were just warehouses, right? And so I actually gave them a call yesterday morning, and I said to them, because I was going to work out how big it was, could I fit it in my car? Because it was like it's a 1200 by 750. I couldn't remember how big the packaging was, and so I wasn't sure if it would fit in my boot. And I couldn't remember how many boxes it came in. I remember it was more than one box, but I couldn't remember how many, and I was worried about lifting it myself and whatever. So I gave them a call and asked them, and they gave me the dimensions, and the guy said to me, why don't you just come down and have a look, at whatever. And I said, what do you mean have a look? I said, are you retail facing? Like, are you public facing? He goes, yeah. Come down. Oh my God. I went down there. I drove down there, and I spent the first 25 minutes I was there walking through their showroom. When I say showroom, we're talking about, think of one of the biggest factories you've ever thought of in your life, and it is just full of every single thing they sell. Oh my God, just everything. It was a it's like a kid going in a candy store. Dangerous place to go for sure. I had no idea that they were a retail, or not retail, you know what I mean, a public facing thing that you could just walk into. And the stuff, I mean, I was just making a mental list of all the things that I would buy. Seriously. They had, you know, like their big CNC machines, like, you know, like these things, like full on, you know. Anyway, all the way to, they had like metal brake machines for folding metal and metal punches and all. Oh, it was just very, very cool. I got to say, it was very cool. But I ended up, so let me just move to the next thing. So all of a sudden, that happened. I bought a couple of benches. And because they fit in my car. So what I did was I ended up buying, can I get back to workbenches? Get back to workbenches. Maybe. Why is it not letting me? All right. So I could have fit this one in my car. I could have. The problem is it's only 1,200 long, and I needed it 1,500 long. And the 1,500 long one, you can't put casters on. Anyway, but what they have is a smaller one, which is 900 by 750. And so I ended up buying two of those, turn them around and put them side by side. So I've got 900 deep, which is better than the other one because I needed 800 and the other one was narrower. And then I've got 1,500 wide. So I bought two of those, put them in my car, drove all the way home, back to work, and ta-da! I built two benches. And unfortunately, they've got the setup is there are two locking casters on one side and two ones they're fixed, they don't rotate on the other side, and so by joining them together, it's impossible to push it around. No, I didn't buy a new van. No, that was one of the things. A different place I was looking at a bench. She would not help me at all with delivery or with whatever, and she said to me, "Just go hire a van and come and pick it up and bring it back." And I thought, like, it was going to cost me double the price just to hire a van, and they still wouldn't help me load the van or unload the van. Anyway, whatever. So I built this, and then, of course, instead of getting back to what I was supposed to be doing yesterday, I started assembling. Now, can anyone tell me in advance while I scroll through these photos what the problem's going to be based on my purchase decision of these two benches? So I'm just going to go, I'll keep scrolling. This is not where it's going to live, it's just where I was assembling it downstairs. Local F1 drives big American pickups, Toyota. Right, there's lots of people around me that drive those, but I don't know them, and I can't help. So flex, no, they're really sturdy. Really, there's no flex. Or there's. What do you mean by flex, Dicky? Intimate Tech, no, the wheels are fine. It's difficult to push around because of the fixed side, but they don't touch each other or anything. They're okay. That's clever. I trade smoked ribs for movers. Okay, next time I need someone to help me move stuff, I'll order some smoked ribs off you. How's that, Bruce? So the problem is that, well, two things. There's this plastic rim around the sides that has a slight lift to it, right? Which means it's not flat across the middle. There's that little thing, but it was okay. The way the assembly of this base works, it actually spans it, so there was no foot sitting on there, right? The problem is that even though they're both exactly the same benches, and they seem to be exactly the same height, there's a slight variation between them, which means I couldn't get a perfectly flat. The holding bench that I'm building, it wouldn't sit perfectly flat. There was a little bit of twist on it on the corners because they're not identical. These benches aren't identical. So I got to the point of here, and I hadn't screwed them in yet, the sides, the V rail. It's got a dual V rail. So I then went, stuff this. So I went up to the hardware store. Oh, no, I got that far. I was taking photos. I don't even know how many photos I got. Went to the hardware store, came back with a sheet of MDF. Unfortunately, this is the longest sheet I could get in my car. And that's 16 millimeter MDF. The only ones they had at the store that was long enough was also much wider. I would have had to get them to cut it down to get into my car, and I still wouldn't have got the right length. But what I did was, hey Rob, well, putting a board on top wouldn't have been enough because the board on top would have then hit the elevated ridges, right? So what I did was I bought those carpet tiles, the rubber and carpet, that thick rubber on the bottom, carpet on top. I bought tiles and I put it underneath. So the actual MDF is sitting on those carpet tiles, which gives it that little bit of play, which means it sits level. And then I put it on and everything was perfectly flat. So the bad news was I couldn't lift this assembled stuff off myself. It was too heavy at that point. You did. Not sure I'd go with MDF. It's moisture resistant stuff. Yeah, I know, but what moisture is it going to be? I'm not running any coolant or anything on this thing. So look, it'll be fine. I hope. If not, I can always pull it apart and redo it. I could have painted it. Sealed it with what's the stuff called? That stinky stuff. I can't remember what it was. I used it on my back bench up against the wall. Anyway, doesn't matter. So I had to pull this apart to get it down, whatever. I did all that, and then I started assembling. And I just took photos as I was going. The axes come pre-assembled. No, not sealant. It's what's it called? Lac something. Not so super Bruce. Haha. What's it called? Is it? Oh, I can't remember the name of it. It's stuff woodworking people put on wood to seal. It's like a stain, but it's more of a sealant. No, not lacquer. It's got a name. It was urethane based. Whatever it is, it's urethane based, and it had a bit of a pong. Doesn't matter. Okay, so it comes pre-assembled, the axes, which is great. I didn't have to assemble all this. It was actually a really, really nice build to do, nice and quick. And all the cables come. I didn't know this. No, it was not glue. It was a urethane. I think it's called lac. I'm sure it's called lac. LACK or something. It doesn't matter. Shellac. That might be the one. Shellac, not lac. Shellac. Urethane shellac. Thank you, Richard. What a silly name. Shellac. It's like an Aussie Sheila. Anyway. All the cables, I knew they came all labelled and everything else, but it actually came pre-harnessed. Look at that. She likes to make something organic, isn't it? I have no idea. It's okay, Rob. I don't know what it's made from, but it just had a little bit of a smell that took 2 or 3 days to... It wasn't terrible. It wasn't toxic. But it was just that, you wrinkle your nose when you walk into the factory in the morning. Yeah, that type of thing. Anyway, it went away. So I started wiring it all up, which was really easy. Everything's labelled. All the connectors are done. They put a lot of thought into the assembly of this stuff, which is pretty cool. Like limit switches look like that. all the motors come separate. You screw them in, but see, they're clearly all labeled Z motor, everything else, and then so that was me just putting all the rest of it together, all the motors on. So when the wire harness looks like that when you unwrap it. That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's for the cost of the machine, for the wiring to not only be connectors and everything else, but pre-fed into all of the correct things in the correct positions. Oops. So when you lay them down, all the lengths between all of the drag chains are already measured so that everything just fits perfectly. So it's all made of insects. No nasty. Mine had urethane in it. Anyway. So you see everything just lined up. It was really good. It was really great to put together. And I got a video at the end. Anyway, this is the final result. Not finished. So that's the box for the VFD, and there's a spindle there. That I haven't even opened the manual for that yet, so I'm sure that there's guidance for the cable management for that as well. Their instructions, their manual. Seriously, I had no idea. It was fantastic. Like to follow, put together. If I would have just stopped and concentrated and done this with intent, as opposed to, I might just do a bit more before I go back and do this, or I might just do a bit more before I go back and do that, right? If I would have done it with intent, the whole thing, forget about the bench and the MDF, the whole assembly would have taken me no more than half an hour, which is pretty amazing. Hey, Amory, I've just finished my PCB and I have to fill in all the JLCB part numbers. That's not fun. Thankfully, you have no space. Anyway, that's what I did yesterday, amongst other things, but a big chunk of my time yesterday. So that's cool. It's happening. I have to build some type of, not in full enclosure for it, but at least side and back walls for debris and whatever, and that's going to live in front of in the garage door, which is why it had to be on wheels, on casters, so it can be moved. So it's going to be opposite Milo in the corner. Anyway, there you go. So that was my yesterday. Pretty exciting. I did not make a video about it. I'm not going to make a video about it. It was it would have been a 2-day adventure to film it all. Yeah. PCP router? What's PCP? Making a small PCB router, your tool shift. Oh, right. That was to Alan. 40-watt laser, yeah. Does it have limit switches on all axes? I had to add them. It has two limit. It's got they've moved to contactless limit switches, which is great. And then there is I think there's one of the axes has a master mechanical limit. So yeah, it's all limits. I'm looking forward to using it. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's move back on to seeing if I can find a 3D model for this footprint. So that's where we ended up. And obviously, if I had these here instead, we could get these much closer. Although, before I do this, because we were speaking about this last week, and, you know, it would make the thing closer, and most people, you know, like, we don't really see a USB hub that's got normal horizontal USB connectors. I was looking at all of my ones I've got here. I've got all various types, and they're all vertical. They're all down, not side in. What am I routing with my CNC? No comment for the moment. You'll have to wait. I've got 6 of the M2 USB3 on test. Case TV, hello. And boards and prototype goes well. I might need to order something like 250 for the logistics for that order, lead times. lead times would be probably a couple of weeks. I don't have enough panels to do that, but normally I would. I just got an order from a couple of different places over last week, and how did I make? I've probably got about 200 in stock. But anyway, lead times, as long as there's no component shortages or anything else, is normally, a week max. If I've got everything I need here, I'll just do a specific run. Otherwise, it might move out a week or something if I have to order PCBs or whatever. So yeah, it just really depends. Like, I ran out of Pro S3D panels last week, which is normally fine. I mean, I know there was a bit of a buying spree on Pro S3s, and then I went to order, and of course, China had their 3-4 day break right in the middle. So I put my order in, and it was in production for 2 days, and then it stopped for like 3 days, and then it continued production, whatever. So stuff like that happens as well. But it's normally pretty quick turnaround. If I don't have stock, I manufacture on demand. So, and I'm usually good at keeping everything I need in stock and not run out of parts. But occasionally, have my moments where I don't. So, for instance, I just ordered this hub for, that's an A, so that doesn't really count. That's interesting. So I did this one. This was on purpose. This is the first hub I've bought. Let me just go back to here for a moment. This is the first USB hub I bought that is actually on an angle. Right? They're all, so the feed-in is on that side, and then here, because I need 10 ports, and they're not power. I don't need power through them. Well, I need power through them, but to power a intermediate board, not the thing that's being. This is for a test jig. But this is the only one I've ever had. Every single other hub I've got are all top insert, like you insert from the vertically from the top. I don't have any here that is a vertical side entry, like what we're thinking of doing. So before I do this, what are people's thoughts on a vertical side as opposed to plugged into the top? Any thoughts? Okay, well, meanwhile, I'm going to... So there's the A. I've got both of these in my shopping cart. I haven't ordered them because I didn't know if I was going to use them. There's the A, which is the lower one, and there's the C, which is the higher one. I might look at the C, which is the high one. So I want to know if there's contact details on here. Oh, okay. DGSwitch.com. DGSwitch.com. I've been to their website before. Okay. Do they have an English? I wonder if translate works. Translation available. Translate to English. Kind of works. Okay, enter the product model number. So we want USB-C. Ow. 0 pages, 0 records in total. I wonder if it doesn't like the A, B, or C. Ooh. Side seat 16-pin Type-C. PDF download. Oh, look at how you pick and place them. That's clever. For details, those are all vertical USB. on the side. Just be I'm spacing between them. I've had a few issues with plug clash. Yeah, I need a. Well, they can't be as bad as doing the horizontal ones. So, 3D models. Ooh, what 3D 3D something looks promising. Translate to English. Okay. PDF 3D. It's something. Okay. Oh, the difference. So the C is higher than the B. Maybe we want the. I might grab one of each, or I don't even know what this does. Uh-oh. Oh, no. These ones aren't clickable. This one is. But A is the low one. Okay, let me just this in. Just got to put it in the right folder for it to find it. So I did download a different one. So I downloaded this random thing, and it was totally wrong. It was a not even close. So that's a no. We're going to. How do I? You can't delete stuff anymore. I'll move to trash. Okay, let me see if 3D model. Oh, what? There was a model already. When I imported this from Easy EDA, it said there was no model found. And there's a freaking model. No way. So the models for the other ones? Con SMT GT Con SMD GT. Okay, this is only for the A. So there was one. So what the hell was I? Oh my god, I never even looked. Oh, that's funny. The step's upside down and in the wrong spot. So the whirl, which we don't want to use because that won't export properly, is in the correct spot. Why, oh why? So I wonder if the one I just downloaded is in the right spot. Hang on. No, GT. That's even worse and not in color. So let's not do that. Let's go back to the step and reposition it. Oh, that's annoying. How funny is that? There's a step. No, there's no step file for the C. There's no footprint for the C. No, that's the one I down. That's that ugly one I downloaded. That's the one I just deleted from Fusion. It's not the correct one. I just called it that because I thought it was close, but it wasn't close at all. Okay, offset. Can I make this bigger? I can. Okay. I can't make that bigger. Okay, left. Maybe. Y. Whoops. I hate when I do that. Bottom looks close, maybe. Not really. Was 8.1. Back a bit. 4, 3, 2. Yeah, the hole's right. I want it to be close if I can. And are the pins touching? Can't really see. No, they're not. Too much. 11.5. I mean, normally I'd take this into Fusion and I'd fix it in there. I'm not going the wrong way. Oh my god. 12.5. No, 12.25. Reckon they're touching almost 12.2. That's good enough. Okay. No, that's the A, the shorter one. That looks tailored to making. Yeah, that it is. Well, it's not. You can't do it with an iron, but you can flux it and rework it from a hot plate. Okay, so just want to make sure that if I just stick this over here. How funny is that? There was a model there, even though it said there was no model. Like that. There you go. We've got a 3D model. But you see it sits flat. I mean, obviously, we can hang it over the edge of the PCB, but unless I lift the PCB slightly higher off the bottom, the plug's going to be too low to the ground. I can do it on the Z, sure, and have it not sit correctly, but be the right height. Yes, I could. If I go back to the data sheet, so that's the C, and this is the A. Okay, so 1121 for the whole thing for the A, and 14. So it's only 2.79 millimeters extra. Really? That's what it looks like. Okay, so CH, whatever CH stands for, is 7.2 from the pins to the center, and that one is 4.58. Right. Oops. Yeah, 2.62 millimeters. That's all it is. No, they're different heights. A, B, and C are 3 different heights. But maybe we don't want the C. Maybe we want the B. The B is... I've got all 3 in my shopping cart still. B is in between the 2 heights. Yeah, 6.7. 6.7 versus 4.58. So 2 millimeters extra. I wonder if that's going to be enough for the outside casing. Yeah, it's to the middle of the connector. Yeah. That plus the PCB, like a millimeter for the PCB, plus whatever the height of the 3D print, the case would be, would give a fair bit of space around for the connector size. You know, for the this bit, for the top and bottom. Oh my god, wrong window. So, like for the top and bottom part of the connector, you see how how high is that? Mister, come on. 2 millimeters. So I need to have clearance, right? 2 millimeters plus. I don't want you scraping this on the table to get it in and out. The one where A is 11.21. What? B and C both say 14 millimeter height on the left measurement error. Do they both say that? 14, 7.2, 14, 6.7. We get all the data sheets together. I keep clicking on the wrong window. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Didn't switch. So, yeah, 11.21, 14, right, yeah, 14, and also 14. How can that be 14 if that's 6.7? So it's there's another 0.5 coming from somewhere else. Oh, look on the inside. Look on the inside here. They're saving space by bringing that higher. What they're effectively doing is making these pins much longer. Much longer. Which is no good for me. Because that'll go through the PCB and it won't solder properly. I need the shorter legs. So if you look, well, I'm assuming that the picture's correct. Just ordered 1 terabyte MTB. And oh. Yeah, storage has gone up heaps in price. Hey, Matt. How's it going? It's going good. You missed all the CNC pictures. I want to know if there's a measurement on the pin length here. 1 millimeter. You see here? Oh, I can't think of, anyway, 1 millimeter for the pin length, or maybe a bit more. Oh, that's for the plastic pin. So the leg is slightly more than 1 millimeter, which is a problem. Oh, this one's also 1 millimeter though. Oh, but look at the extra. Yeah, that's the problem. So this won't solder. I'd have to use a 2 millimeter thick PCB for that to work. So we cannot use C. No, is that B or C? Shit. This one's B. Let's open that one last. Does it say on here? Anyone see a B or C version anywhere? I can't see. That's definitely A. I'm sure that's C. 239,000 Australian dollars. What a deal. Do it. Looks at watch. I'm late. All good. Hello, Infamy 4K. Bottom right, model code. Oh, you're right. So, okay, thank you. I totally missed that. So C. Yeah, this one is a B. Okay, so I can't use B. It's got to be C or A. So if I use A, I have to lift the PCB off the bottom. And if I use C, I don't. Or not as much. Should I do A or C? Is the question. But I'm going to do vertical, right? I'm not going to have the horizontal ones. So I need to... what are all these pins? One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. They obviously shield. I don't know why they're called EH. You get to vote and see I could do the opposite. No. Okay, let me just get one wired up. I'm pretty sure they should be ground. Oh, well, they're the shield. But I don't label them that's a pain. And they don't have them joined. So if you look at A's and B's here, it's not going to be. Right, so yeah, mine aren't labeled that way. Oh, that's going to be a pain. So did they have on their pinout what the pins are? Nope. Oh, yes, they do here. Okay, on the side here. Earth hold down. So it earths a hold. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so A4, A5, CC1, D1. Okay, what a pain. Let's do this. Let's just do it. I need it on screen so you can see it as well. Okay, A4 is VBus. A4 and B9 are VBus. A4. Let's just grab these because that's what I'm going to be using. Hello. Copy. Paste. Come on, get off. Okay. I'm making this way harder than it needs to be. I know. Whatever. So we've got A4 is VBus, as is B9. Oh, interesting. They line up. Okay. Then A5 is CC1. Why are they two different font sizes? 49. Jeez, what is going on? So B8 is SBU. What's SBU? What's SBU? Anyone know? Okay, B5 is CC2. SBU is sideband. What? SBU is like the KGB of USBs. B12 and A1, A12 and B1, the grounds. B1, A1. Oh, it's A12, A12, yeah, and B1. I know this is ugly. Right now, I just don't care. SBU is Ukrainian state terrorist. No, don't say that about Ukraine. Okay, D plus, A6 and B6. A6 and B6. Okay, D minus is A7
Sebastian, chat has disconnected.
Okay. And B7. Okay, B8 and A8 are nothing. Well, I don't know what they are. I've never used them. And wait, why is B9? Oh, B4 and A4 is also VBus. B4. Why does it keep snapping? See that? What? Okay. B4 and A9. Okay, so A8 and B8, just like on my other connector, aren't connected. Yeah, all these font sizes. I need to fix these. Font size is 49. Okay, so that's one connector. And yeah, see B8, A8, I don't know what they are. Delete that. I'm going to make this J3. No, why is it a U? I don't want that. J3. So now, right, update. Right, don't worry about the other one. Now, we're going to read all of that. After I spent all that time making them all identical, B8 and A8, SU, S1, but yeah, no, but I don't know what that is. Do not know. Oh, hang on. Shit. I just realized this is going to have the wrong 3D model. Yeah, I need to edit this. I need to edit. And I need to save it over the library model. In here. Overwrite. So now I can make this edit, update footprint from library, and it'll have the right model now. Yep. Okay, all updated. Good. Delete this one. So I need to reroute all of this. I'm going to delete those. And I'm going to move that just down here for now. How much do we want them sticking out? Or do we want them flush-ish for a case? 4 millimeters, God. Everything I want to know, can you give me the TLDR so I don't get distracted from this? Please, Bruce? Lock it into a fixed position for the moment. Okay, so CC1 is over here. CC2 is over here. As someone said, video. Oh, is it a video? Okay, let's not worry about then. I need this. There for the CCs. So this is just going to take a bit of tricking around until I can just get this into a kind of usable situation. How am I going to get CC2 over under that? I guess like that. Stop breaking my things. Okay, I'm going to need 3 volts, 3 volts, 3.3 volts, there. Now, interesting, these line up. I'm quite surprised, but it's okay. Oh, how am I going to get USB in then? Um, that's nasty how they flip like that, but that's what they do. So, which one am I going to do on each side? I feel like I should be doing this to give myself more room. That's minus. I always hate how messy these things are. Just for now, I'm just doing this for now, just because why not? And what I should do actually is I'll make this consistent. This is ugly, but I need the clearance for this. It's very quiet. We need some music. Not happy at all with this at the moment, but I need to work out how I'm going to can't even wow. Can't get a wire in there. On my vertical ones I could. That really messes with the length matching, doesn't it? The only way I could fix that is if I don't do this. And here I do that. Same layer hopping, same. Yeah, okay. So I'm really not liking this stuff, but I can now move it away over to here. This is not ideal, but I think it's a start. Why won't that snap? It's weird. Is it touching? Must be touching something. That one. Sorry. Jumping around a lot. Okay. Something like that. And then, so I don't need these. I do need to join these USB 5 volts together though. Oh, and I did that. I think that's going to have to be on the ground layer. Because I need to join these. Do I need it? Yeah, I need to join the power. Better if I join the power. Would that device you have on the left be better rotated and below the connector? Yeah, maybe. Sorry, I because I'm concentrating, I'm not necessarily seeing a chat message pop in. Hey, Technoulis. Don't forget you can always type. Always do that.
Unexpected Maker says, tell me something.
So, this is a USB. Oh my God, USB, try that again. USB to 5 volts. What is going on? USB to 5 volts. Thank you. Solid. I need to get to the power here. This is god awful, I know. Yeah.
Row 5733 says been so long I can't remember if it cached the voice you said.
Yeah, it should. It sounds like it might have. Okay, so we have power going down to here. I really don't like these USB connector that traces at all. What is going on? Have I mentioned that Kicad's track or trace manipulation has gotten worse in 10? If I haven't mentioned it to you already, I know I have. I'm being facetious. I'm mentioning it again. Definitely does some weird things. So once if I routed both out that way? I feel like I've done, yeah. Rob, you're probably right. And I feel like I've done this back to front. I should solve the routing first of the USB, is what I think I should do. Actually, that's going to be a problem. I have to loop it around anyway. Ah, I tried the DFM check lately. All I get is a blank page. No, you're talking about for getting them to manufacture stuff? I've never had them manufacture anything for me, so I don't know. So if I go like this, it's a bit messy. That is a bit messy. Right, then now back to front. So that's not good. That won't work either. Okay, well, back to where I had it. It seems is the, for the moment, the right way. I need to get, I just hate this. I hate that I can't bring it through anywhere. I just switched Chrome for it to work for me. Firefox Linux gave me the blank page too. Hello, Liberty Wall. Okay, so this is really ugly. I know. But And I really don't want to update them all until I've really decided this is the way I want the layout to be. But if we look at this, move that over. This is the RGB LED for the status. And that's the sense pin. Right here. Let's see if these were down here. I mean, I know this is all kind of aesthetics, but it's kind of not, because it needs to be a manageable. Hmm. Just won't clean up after itself sometimes. I really don't like it. I really don't know. This is frustrating. And my coffee's getting colder. Why do they make such awkward connectors? The problem is they need to match the order coming into the chip, right? I don't want to twist them. And that's a problem. So if I have them both come out the left or both come out the right, they're actually the wrong way around. And these freaking peg legs, like, there's just no room to get any traces through. And I can do like this. Move that over there, like that. I can match the lengths afterwards. Like, that's not a problem, like, in terms of getting their lengths the same, but I don't want them longer than they need to be. Like, this is currently 77,126, and this is 71. So 6 millimeters difference in length. If I have to add 6 millimeters to this just to length match it, that's crazy. Like, it's a waste of 6 millimeters of trace. I mean, sure, I can do it, no problem. But I need to find a place where I can maximize or minimize the length. Okay, that's 76 now instead of 71. 77. 76.6, 71.4. Okay, so that's 5.2. Obviously, if I did it at 45, I could do a straight line. And that does that count? It counts all the way to there. That's all over there. Okay. Can anyone think of a better way to route this to keep them the same? Use one side, A7, bring them down together. A7, A6. Yeah, but they're the wrong way round. I just said that. If I use A7 and A6, the traces are flipped, and I'll have to flip them. I'll have to do a layer hop to flip them to the right positions. I need them to stay in order like this. See this? The whole way. So if I use two on the same side, they'll be the wrong order. So I need to use one from each side. Unfortunately. Multiplayer survival game on YouTube on Sunday evening. Which multiplayer survival game you're going to do? I mean, look, this is ugly, but it'll work. And
5733 says put all the connectors on the other edge.
Put all the... What do you mean on the other edge? Sniper Elite Resistance. Wow. .4. Okay, so this is 4mm, but that looks ugly. I don't understand what you mean by the other edge. Down here. It is on the other edge, left. Still doesn't work in that axis. Yeah, the problem is they're on each side, they're the wrong ones. If this was USB, if that was minus and that was plus, and that was plus and that was minus, then I could take from either side, right? Or, I know what you're saying. No, if it was this, you're saying if it was like this, but not do that. If it was like this, then I could get the order right. And you're correct. So, like, that would go to that one. No, that's not correct. See, that's still flipped. They're still the wrong way. Either way, no, either way, they're the wrong way. It doesn't matter. The only way it could be the right way is if the connector was like this. Now, oh, whoops. If I face the connector inside, actually, even that's not right. This is sit on the other side of the board. No. Did you just suggest a double-sided board? Life in cycling? You need to shoot yourself. No, show that's a bad. You need to think about your life choices by suggesting to me again within 24 hours that I should make it double-sided. Okay, so something as stupid as this. I wonder if... Oh, look at that. God, I can't. I wonder if that's actually longer. Oh well. Doesn't laugh. The talk makes me back to growing up in the 90s. Hello, Snoozy355. Also, go easy. Which retort? The shoot one? Yeah, that was a I think in the current political climate, that was a bad choice of words by Sion. I could probably make it's just next to ground, which is fine. But I'm gonna get rid of the kinks. Can I make it go through horizontally? So, 71.2, 4.1. It was better before. Oh, the 80s, 70s and 80s were the best. 90s, yeah, we lost it. We're going backwards. Just in general, backwards. Our music's worse.
Greetings, mortals.
Quixotic Geek, hello! Our music's worse. Our social responsibility is worse. Our movies are worse. Not all movies. Most movies are worse. Yeah. How are you doing, Quixotic Geeks? Do you remember some of the terrible Australian bands from the 90s? Some of the best Australian bands were from then. Which ones do you think were the worst? Out of curiosity. Yeah. Yes, 7. Okay. Sure. You got me on that one. Yep. You're alive. Wow, that's not a great what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I guess that's the minimum viable thing, but yeah. The bands in Oz. Not Wizard of Oz, Rob. I know you know that. I could come out. If that's on the side. Let's see if that was on the side. Nah, I don't like it on the side. Oh my god. Sounds wasting his time trying to work out how to convert nicely laid out horizontal USB connectors for a 6-port USB hub. An intelligent hub. So it's a USB hub that runs off an ESP32 S3 for power control and stuff, right? And people mentioned last week horizontal connectors is a bit whack. You don't normally see that. So how about we go side-mounted vertical connectors? And I'm trying to work out how to convert it and route it. So, you know, going from these connectors, which I'd already done, and it was so simple, to these connectors. And this it's just a nightmare. Like this the pin configuration makes me do really silly stuff for the USB stuff. It's going to be USB 2 high speed, USB 2 full speed, which means they need to be perfectly length matched and impedance matched. Do placement vertical from connector downwards. What? Do placement vertical from connector. I don't understand what that means. Technubulus. What is the vertical plug? No, I'll convert them all. I don't know. So this one here is power. Hang on. This one here is a power input, separate power. So the power is not. I'm not doing power intentionally through the USB chip. Power control is being done separately via the S3. This one here is just the upstream that also powers the 3.3 stuff, which for the USB hub chip and the S3. And then these are all downstream, 6 downstream ports. What's the worst Canadian band? Unexpected hub. Yes, it will trigger. Anyway, Nickelback. Oh, you know what? Sorry. I like Nickelback. Some of Nickelback I like. I won't lie. I don't think they're terrible. Place connector Y downward. Place power management and... How do I do connector Y downward? The connector is going to be going into the center of the PCB. Yeah, I like Nickelback. Yeah, I don't understand how that would work. Technubulus, like I can't have the connectors inside the PCB. I see at the back of the connector. Which IC are we talking about? Yeah, see, I'm not a Led Zeppelin fan. Both the first, then I still don't understand what I'm gaining. And when you say at the back, this is the back. This is where that is. This is the back already. That's the back. And I'm not sure how that's going to help. I don't want to put them on the side. I don't want like all this stuff over here. I don't want to make the width, like I don't want to be butting up between them, right? The whole idea is to save space. What's the inline downward? Inline downward. You mean put this? You mean there, like that? I don't know what that saves me, other than uglier routing. Why? The whole point is this is the 5-volt input. I mean, that's not really saving me anything. I mean, sure, I can put this. Let's say it's there for now, ugly, I know. And I can put this like that, but what have I really saved? Nothing. Like, you know what I mean? My problem isn't the power. My problem is the USB. And so, like, on this one here, on this side, I'll have to route them from the other side, but I think the order's going to be wrong still. Just 4 layers, but it's not a layer issue. I don't want to be hopping the USB between layers. The USB's got to stay on the top layer. And no jumping. And the reason I want to do this, just to be clear, the reason I'm adamant about keeping USB, which they're currently not, the trace width's not impedance matched, and they're not length matched or anything, right? But the reason I want them to stay on the top with no hopping is I want the opportunity to take this and put a USB 3 chip here and see if I can, once I've got this working, look at doing a USB 3 one, which has, you know, even way stricter USB plus minus control. Like, oh, insane. So, and absolutely cannot jump layers. So, 6, 4, more than 2. What's that? Huh? Oh, the layers, right. 4 layers. Okay, so I think, I mean, I don't care about the placement of these other ICs at the moment. They're not really a problem. I think it's more about, is this a layout I want to reproduce? And if I did, so if I grab that, how much space am I really saving? Well, I'm saving a heap, right? How much space do we want to leave between USB connectors? Drawings. Is 10 millimeters enough? No, that can't be enough. 15 millimeters between USB. What have I got at the moment? That's a good, interesting question. Right now, 17. So I'm only saving 2 millimeters each at 15 millimeters. Not to skip. That's funny. Okay, so 15's no, if I'm only saving 2 millimeters, there's no point, I don't think. So let's make it 14. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, but that's only saving 15 millimeters overall. Doesn't seem worth it, does it? Doesn't the Super says about this? The spacing between them? Really? Is Super Bruce our resident? USB standard for spacing between vertical USB-C ports. USB specification does not define a mandatory minimum distance between ports, leaving spacing decisions to product designers. However, to accommodate standard connector overmolds, which are roughly 6 in length, vertical stack using 10 to 12 millimeters center to center. 10 to 12. Triple-sided board. I'm making a cube PCB. So they reckon 10 to 12. If I made it 12, you were measured same. One was center to center. What? They're all center to center. So if it's 12, I'm saving 5. I'm saving 25 millimeters, which is still not a lot, but how big's the overall board? Overall board is 107. Okay, I'm saving, plus bits on the sides. I'm saving 25%. Metal power rails, long tubes. 17 was for the horizontal, right? Because we needed from center to center, we needed that gap in the middle. And that gap in the middle is 8.3, which is less than their recommendation. Why not imperial spacing? So I know I can't change the position. Anyway, so 25 is a fair bit, I guess, overall for the board. This is, I feel like we're going backwards because of the, going to redo all of this stuff. I'm going to have to relay this out later, but this will be J4. I'm just going to put a second one in and we can have a look. This is 3. This is not how I thought I was going to be spending my morning. So the normal vertical ones I use, not the right angle vertical like these new ones, are also awkward for their routing, but the connector has much more space around the pads, and you can do some fancier stuff to not have these issues that I'm having right now. Maybe I can make those pads.
What speed do you expect to run on that hub?
480. So USB 2 at full speed. 480. You going? Okay. Thanks for joining, popping in, saying hi. I'm glad you're alive. But yeah, glad you came past and said hi. And I hope you're well. Okay, J. Just going to do this. Make that J4.
Alan Madsen says not at the same time.
What do you mean? Well, that's the whole point. You can do USB. This chip should be able to do 480 for all ports. Right. Whether the upstream can't do 6 times 480. I understand that. But I want this to be able to do it. So, yeah. Ideally. Okay, so what did we say? 12. 86. Okay. So forget about where the rest of the parts are. Does that look feasible? That looks feasible. Look. Like how high?
Alan
How?
Madsen says that was what I was referring to. Slightly smiling face.
Okay. Well, I'm glad it was only a slightly smiling face. So this is an Apple one. So this is like 6. Let's call it 620. So 3.1 and 3.1. Oh, okay, so I'm just going to doing something stupid. 3.1. That would be the outside edge of that one, and I mean that's the amount of space we have between those is 5.8 millimeters, which is, I know it's not a lot. I don't know if I could get my fingers around it to get it out. Probably not. So I do this with my fingers to grab it and measure my fingers. Well, that's 22. But you grab it vertically, right? If you grab it, it's connected, and you grab it vertically, then how fat are my thumbs? 16. I'm not sure how easy it would be to grab them and pull them out. I mean, I know you can grab the cable and pull it out, but you really shouldn't. I don't know, it's deceiving. I'm just not sure if that's going to be too close or not. Grab top and bottom. Right, but grabbing top and bottom, if you think about it, like it's still a fair bit of space.
Alan Madsen says I think the spacing will be fine.
Think it'll be fine? Okay, so I know I'm doing all this right justified at the moment. That's okay, because I can just move it all over later. So, oh, shit. Okay. I think what I need to do is convert all of these over. It's 1, 2, J5. I wish I could update all of these at once. I wish there was like a spreadsheet view for just, if I selected that and went to the spreadsheet, and it gave me like all the different trace names, and I could change them all in one hit. That'd be so nice. 4. I could probably write some Python code to do it, but then I would take 10 times longer to write the code than it would be to just do it by hand. Or longer. Wow, the numbers have dropped. I've put people to sleep watching me come up with all this. Okay, and that was J5, 6, 7, and 8. And I had pretty boxes and everything. Oh, what a pain.
Matt says it's okay. I'm watching it twice long.
Twice? What do you mean twice? You're watching on 2 different screens? So you get stereo vision. So Wonka vision. Working on my PC, trying to get Ubuntu working, so I'm watching it on my phone at the same. Okay. Catch you later, Amory. Assuming bedtime vision means you're going to bed. I want to go to bed. I've had 3 hours sleep. I almost cancelled my stream this morning. But I did not. I have a client meeting this afternoon that I need to prepare for. And I have to make sure I don't distract myself with the CNC. Cool. Six. Okay, last one. I can make this easier just by making it a 4-port hub. Actually, no, it'd have to be a 3-port hub then. So those of you might remember the first stream I was working on this. 1 a.m. Yeah, go to bed. Amory, go to bed, please. I mentioned that I was doing this as a proof of concept of the chip because I want to use it on a client board. Well, I haven't got this even finished yet. I've already started working on the client version because I can't wait any longer. I've taken way too long. Bye. And okay, so I'm going to move this one up 20. And then so I can lay these ones out. So that was 3, 4. Uh, 5. I'll fix that in a second. 6. So I saved it when I was on the 3D model. When I was on the 3D model view. Oh. I'll flip it around. And so they when I open them by default, they open on this. I'll fix that later. And 8. Click. Okay, so they're all 65. And so that would be 74. Wait, 74. Can't type. 86, 74, 62, 50, 38. That's a fair bit of space saved. Look at that. Okay. Going for almost 2 hours. This is a board that's going to take 10 more streams to finish. I think I'm not going to go any further now. I'm going to have to need to fix this up and
Intermit Tech says that's also what I fear for if I do design on stream.
yeah, it I usually get things finished like after the stream. Sometimes. But what key code? Oh, let's see. So I've got Kicad at home on my MacBook Pro and Kicad here on my Mac Studio, and I have different key bindings set up for the remove thing, and I just haven't got around to. It's ridiculous. I actually don't need. God. These corner things are janky. They kind of work. God. Come on, Kicad. This really hasn't saved me anything by putting it underneath. If anything, it's just made it harder. Come on, snap off. So see this? So sometimes when you drag this down and hold it over it, it joins the two together, it welds them. But see, it hasn't because of the angles. There was a bad angle somewhere here. And right, now they're both 135. Now if I drag it down, it's now, no, it's not. See, sometimes it joins them, sometimes it doesn't. So now I've got to delete one of them. It's frustrating when it does that. I don't know why it does it. Yeah, okay. Something like that. Really not a fan. Not a fan. But it'll work. Too much. Okay, so what's my overall width of this now? Approximately 11 and a half. 11 and a half. Okay. I think that'll work. I just wish I had a solution for this. And obviously, if I put this up here, I'm just worried about closeness to the connector. I can get rid of that kink, and that kink will save me some length. That's 75.33, and with the kink, oh, it's the same. Okay, I'll leave it for now. But I don't like those anyway. Okay, I have a plan. I have a model for the things. I can move these over to vertical now. And do already the two sides with bridging two sides of the wires. You could take one from each side. No, I'd need one extra wire to do that. I need to jump it one more time, which is going to completely wreck the impedance matching. So forget about how they're joined here inside, right? They're coming directly from, they're either both fully top layer, depending on the orientation, right? They're either both fully top layer, like this. That's not joined, right? Or they're both fully top layer plus even number of vias and non top layer traces. So the impedance on this inner layer here is going to be different on the traces than on here, because even if I make them the right trace width, because of the stack up, because of the can't think of the name they put, but between the layers, the copper, God, I need sleep. The copper's different distances apart. The pre-preg different apart, so it's going to be a different impedance. But this is small, right? This whole length here is 3.8 millimeters, right? As is the other side, or it should be, and they're the same. They're close enough. But hey Beata, how you doing? So, you know, I can't force people to put the orientation a particular way, but this is the best I can do. If I try to grab them both from one side through the hop, like you're suggesting, I'm automatically going to have an extra via, even if it's close, an extra via and an extra extra length that I'd have to then compensate for. So they go right now. They go through an even number of vias, no matter what, and an even number of layers, even though not identical layers in this section here. I could get rid of the green ones and just join the red, but then they're not layer hopping anymore when the other ones are. So that's the one I don't want to be. Oh, what's if I did that? Hang on. What's if I'm just, now you got me thinking. I got rid of this. Okay, if I did this, this is my longer path, right? So if I got rid of that and that, okay, this will be different on layer. Okay, let me just think. get this out of the way for the moment. That's one out of the way. That's a problem. Sorry, I've got an idea, but I'm not sure. So we have one hop here, which is not nice. No, this is going to be worse, because what this is going to do, I think, this is going to so this is now 7233, 71. So this looks better. See, 7233 and 7169, they're much closer. But here's the problem. Oh, actually, I guess it doesn't matter which direction they're in. Okay, here's the thing. In one orientation, it's going to be using that one, this one, and this one. So this one, if it's using these two, A7 and A6, right? Does it use flip and flip? I don't know. Does anyone know if it does the opposite? Like it uses that one and that one, or it uses that one and that one? Like, is that a pair and that a pair, or is that a pair and that a pair? I think it's opposite. No, you don't know, or no, that's not the pairs it uses. Only A pair and B. Okay. So it's either these two or it's these two. Okay, so if it's these two, yeah, then this has to go hop through and down, and this one doesn't, which makes this one, you don't count the green on this one. So if I disconnect the green, just for the moment, and I go back to here, this is now 6, 7, 2, and this one, actually I need to disconnect that then. So that's 70.29 and that's 6, 7. So it's actually 3 millimeters difference on these because it doesn't need the extras. And if it's the other way, then it's 72 and 71. So they're close. So flipped one way, they're much closer, and flipped the other way, they're bad. And what's worse is if I length match to fix the other one, it'll break this one. Remember, then B pair becomes stubs. Right, but that length, it might not use that part of the trace electrically, but my length matching does. So I think this actually doesn't solve anything. What that does is makes my left and right flipping, sorry, my different flipping more of an issue. Now I have, actually this will make it even worse, because that'll be to here, and this one will be all the way to here. So that'll be 75.33, and this one won't be. This one will actually be 66. 75 and 66.
Tech says, can you open the net inspector? Easier to get an overview.
The net inspector. The what? What's a net? Oh, you mean, right. You're talking about the panels net inspector, right. But is that not going to be too small for you? USB 2. Oh my God, USB 2. Right. I need to undo that change. So 72 to 76. That takes into account via length and such. Well, so does if I do 7. If I do this. But sure, this shows both together. So 72 and 76. Via length, track length. But they're the extreme. So A, if it's on A, the difference will be that big. And if it's on B, the difference won't be the same. It'll be the other way around. But this will allow me to length match it, right? So 72 and 76. This is 71 and 75. Because it's not counting the via stuff. If you want to jump to layer green, route down, wire directly, and then at the end, connect to come back. I don't really want to, no, I don't want to split my ground plane down the middle. I mean, it would be an extra via. It would be an extra via. So the only reason I'm looking at doing green here is because, I mean, right now there's no ground plane, is because it's horizontal. So all my traces are going vertically. But if I do vertical, I'm breaking ground plane horizontally, which I don't particularly want to do, but that would be a last resort thing. Like I'd even rather do this and not use ground at all. But then I'm going to have this wonky, you know, and that could be okay. I mean, I could do this instead. That's an annoying position. I just don't like doing messy like that, right? But I could get rid of that. I could do that and not use any ground at all. So the ground plane's got to be contiguous. Yeah? If I do if I put a ground plane in, the inner ground plane, ground, so here's my ground plane, okay? See, it's contiguous. I'm not splitting it anywhere. Now, if all my signals are coming down, I'm just going to draw some fake. Hello? Draw some fake lines. Right? Bloody hell, Kicad. If all my things are coming down, which they are basically, right? And as they get closer together, so you think of all my traces coming down to the chip, yeah? If I put a horizontal trace going this way,
Disk says make the signals go left for a while, then come up crossed.
no, you don't deliberately make USB traces divert and add length and make them wave, you know what I mean, just to be able to use a bit of ground plane. It's the other way around, right? I have a very specific, USBs are very specific. USB 1.1, no. 2.0, yes. 3.0, 100% strict, right? Anyway, this is not breaking the continuity of the ground plane going across, right? But this is causing a problem, okay? So any signal going, any ground return that's got to come from this corner here all the way down to this corner here, yeah? So this here, this here has a straight line. Even with the horizontal, you see this? Like horizontal, straight line, whatever, right? The vertical one blocks it. Blocked. You have to go to there and then up and around and down to continue. So if I have a vertical here, I'm just saying, right? And a vertical here, and a vertical here, and a vertical here, and a vertical whatever, okay? I can't get from here across easily. I've got to come here and then down and around and down, or here and across here and down. I'm wrecking my return path, okay? But with some smaller horizontal ones, and they weren't even that wide. I mean, they were much narrower, right? I have a much easier way. See, I can get through here. I can get through there. I can get through there. I can get through there. I'm not stuffing the return path. And this, people make mistakes like this all the time in their multi-layer. They think, oh, add an extra layer, put a ground plane in. I'll just pinch a bit of ground plane to do this, pinch a bit of ground plane to do that to make my life easy. And what they do is completely destroy their ability to do a return path. So the type of topology I've got on this board, anything vertical I do on the ground plane is a problem. Horizontally, not as much. And short horizontally that's spaced apart is really good. If I need to do anything. That was the only reason I was considering doing ground through here, because it was so short and it wasn't blocking my return path. Does that make sense? I mean, it's very hard to kind of demonstrate in Kicad. Also, anyone that wants to disagree with me, speak up. I'm happy to hear other people's opinions. Oh my God. Makes sense because I'm aware of the concept, right? Okay. It's for a lot of stuff it doesn't matter. Like I'm very particular about this because of RF, right? I think very rarely, like less than 1%, less than 0.5% of my boards will have a hack in the ground layer because I'd have absolutely no choice. I think my Pro S3's got a hack in the ground layer, or my trying to think which board does, because I have no choice. So the key then is you got to keep it as short as possible, and you got to make sure that you do it in a position where it's, so on my boards, see, like something like this. Okay, so that's the like Tiny Pico D, which will be going into production soon because I've got the other antennas are gone, right? So I had to redo with the new antenna. So in something like RF like this, the antenna propagates through the ground plane this way. Okay, it uses the ground plane as part of the propagation. So any traces that go vertically on this board kills the RF. Well, not kills it, doesn't kill it dead. It reduces, it affects the RF, right? The attenuation quite noticeably. But any traces that go horizontally don't, or nowhere near as much, right? We're talking about very thin traces on here, right? It's a tiny board. So if I've got something in there that I need to join together, if they're on different heights, right, I will try to, like, I won't just do a straight line like this and block this way, that whole length. I'll try to kind of get them in a position where I can keep the height difference as minimal as possible, even if it's slightly longer horizontally, to ensure that the ground plane's contiguous this way, not blocked. There's no things where the RF signal has to go up and down or around, right? So this is something I'm just conscious of because it, like, I can measure the difference. It noticeably affects, obviously, the bigger the board, the more, or the bigger the trace, the more, but it does affect things. So, but maybe I take it too far on my other designs. I don't know. I'm going to leave it here. I have to start preparing for this client meeting this afternoon. We're going to be blowing up boards, or trying to blow up boards. Trying to blow up a power design and see if it survives. It's going to be exciting. Yes, this is for a, I can't say what it's for. Under NDA, but
Intermit Tech says you should stream that.
yeah, I can't. It's a client product. It's under very strict NDA. I've never mentioned the job, the client, or the work on stream before, and I'm not going to. But it's going to be fun. Use of 5, everything is a 555. It's not a battle drone. That would be cool. No, this is just a I've extracted the power circuit off the bigger board, and some of you might be able to work out what the test is for. It's fine. I'm not going to clarify or do whatever. There's a whole bunch of testing requirements for the industry, and it has to survive a whole bunch of stuff. And so I've pre-prepared new PCBs with just the power stuff, and they're bringing some nice voltage stuff today, and we're going to, or better, and no explosion. That'd be good. Less smoke is better.
Intermit Tech says first time I saw them ESD zapping my boards during set testing was interesting.
Yeah, how did it go on your first attempt? This is not ESD zapping. This is high voltage. High voltage, thousands of amps. Thousands of amps. Almost inherited a high voltage tester for static discharge testing. Right. Yeah, this is all not static. This is yeah. Good, but a bare GPU line. Pin is zap, dead ESP. Yeah, it happens. Don't leak. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Or it's gonna be an anticlimax and it passes and it'll be 5 minutes of testing and we're done. And that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I believe is going to happen. But it might not. Might not. Should be fun. I'll let everyone know next week if it passed or failed. And maybe at some point in the future I'll be able to let you know what it is. But I can't right now. So, welding probes, you can weld those pieces together. Oh, excuse me. I don't have any welding probes or any welding anything. I'd love to learn how to weld, spot weld or whatever. But, yeah, there's a limit. And I don't need to join those benches together. The hockey straps I had on them, they're not even needed in hockey straps. Those things aren't needed now because of the bench top. But anyway, the betting pool opens. Odds 2-1. With the high voltage and thousands of amps. Oh, what? Oh, you're saying I could use that? No. It's not long enough. No, it's there wouldn't be enough time to weld. That's what you meant. Use the client board to do the welding. No, it'll be a no, not that long. Oh, excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna go get a coffee and get on with preparation. Thanks all for joining the stream. And I don't know when the CNC will be up and running, but for those that don't know what I'm talking about, start of the stream I showed pictures of what I was working on yesterday. But I'm sure to share some video once it's running. Yep. Okay. Bye, everyone. Have a great week. I will catch you all next week. Cheers.